Hello and welcome to Christian Weather Broadcasting. Today we're going to be forecasting Tropical Storm Ian, which is forecast to become a hurricane once again. Right now you're looking at Tropical Storm, Ian on satellite imagery. The center has moved off onto the into the ocean, and now that it has moved off into the ocean, we are seeing that intensification. This afternoon, for North Florida and South Carolina, expect those tropical storm force winds to be moving on in. Right about now into later this evening, expect North Florida to experience the peak of this storm for that area. It's not going to be extremely bad for North Florida, but there is the possibility of flash flooding. There are gusty winds right now, and there have been a few reports of a branch snapping, and there has been power flickering in North Florida. Now, speaking of North Florida, let's bring you a video from North Florida. This is the effects right now. As you can see, not extremely windy. There is some rain, some blustery conditions. If we fast forward a bit in this video, you can see one of those gusts moving through. There have been gusts quite strong, and those have been moving through and rattling garage doors and stuff like that. They're not extremely bad gusts, but they are some little bit of windy gusts. So not extremely bad in North Florida, but do expect tropical storm force weather. So danger of life-threatening storm surge through Friday along the coast of northeastern Florida, Georgia, and South Carolina. Residents in these areas should follow any advice given by local officials. Hurricane force winds are expected across South Carolina coast beginning early Friday, where a hurricane warning has been issued. Hurricane conditions are possible by tonight along the coasts of northeastern Florida and Georgia, where a hurricane watch is in effect. Preparations should be rushed to completion since tropical storm force winds will begin well before the center approaches the coast. Ongoing major to record river flooding will continue across portions of central Florida, with considerable flooding in northern Florida. Considerable flash and urban flooding is expected across coastal portions of northeast Florida through Friday. Local significant flooding in southeastern Georgia and eastern South Carolina is expected through the end of the week. So if you're in anywhere where it could flood really badly, you need to get out of there if the government has told you to do so, because you do not want to deal with storm surge. Speaking of storm surge, let's take a look at this. Edisdale Beach in South Carolina could experience 4 to 7 feet of storm surge. The center is going to move around on land around this area, so that'll be where the strongest winds are pushing seawater onto land. Because with storm surge, what happens is the hurricane force winds shove that ocean water right up onto land. Let's take a look at the storm surge inundation, which is really important. Let's zoom on in to where around Isle of Palms. See, Isle of Palms will experience what looks like up to possibly 6 feet plus of storm surge in some areas. So be very ready for this storm surge. Let's take a look at our rainfall potentials right now for Charleston. Around 6 to 10 inches of rain possible. There's a moderate chance of flash flooding. Now let's take a look at the wind speed probabilities for these areas. 90% chance of tropical storm force winds for most of the Florida peninsula, all the way up into Charleston, South Carolina. Even North Carolina could experience this weather. In fact, I believe this storm will be a Florida to North Carolina ordeal. And the reason I believe this is because of the wind field on this. It has a massive tropical storm force wind field. If you take a look at that, that is just one giant wind field. In fact, we're going to see that wind field. It's already moving on into Georgia, South Carolina, and then North Carolina. I'd expect the wind to arrive there relatively soon as this storm moves closer. We're going to see it intensify over water into a hurricane, but luckily there is some shear to keep it from intensifying really rapidly, and there is a hurricane warning in effect for Charleston now, so get ready to hunker down, get all preparations finished now, because this will spend about 24 hours, I'd say, over water before making landfall. And I'll have more videos and stuff coming out this afternoon, but this is your forecast. Please get prepared. We're going to see this thing intensify, and the tracks pretty much agree on landfall in Charleston, and there's our intensity guidance. Probably is what we'll see: strong tropical storm to Category 1 hurricane. Thank you for watching. This has been Christian Weather Broadcasting.